Have to say hello to everybody.
Okay, let's start off with the,
I believe it is to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
roll, please.
Alba. Badlow.
Here.
Day.
Here.
Gurecki.
Here.
Serrano.
Here.
Warrenbeck. Bono.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Or Joseph.
The mission of the Herkimer County Industrial Development Agency is to deliver economic incentives to businesses and industries to diversify and strengthen Herkimer County's tax base and enhance community vitality by supporting job creation, business and industrial development and community revitalization. We strive to develop the local economy in an organized, sustainable, and environmentally beneficial manner.
Here, John.
Okay, so Mr. Bono's last meeting with us is today. Time flies. He's gonna work with us for a few months. I'm sorry. He's gonna work, well, we can only hope. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're leaving too. But time flies and Joe won't be here for our next meeting. So what we asked him to do is put together just an outline of what he's done. What he, just some thoughts on the IDA and Joe, if you want to see what Aaron's trying to do here, this doesn't seem to be working. Oh, that I'm getting all ticked off about, yeah. Did you try this already?
I did a couple times.
For the people at home. Oh. There it is.
You run your office, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh, your KTV stuff there.
He's got the flag and everything. If you're gonna get warm, you need to wear a t-shirt sometimes. That'll help.
Yeah, I popped the collar. Yes, so I just want to start off, as John mentioned, say a few words since this will be my last board meeting as summer intern. First off, I want to thank the board and staff for giving me the opportunity to spend my time this summer with the IDA. I also wanted to give a special thanks to John for taking me under his wing and providing me with all the resources and knowledge I need to succeed. Thank you to Aaron, Jen, Victoria. You guys have been very helpful and I'm so glad I was a part of this team. Something I just wanted to highlight was all the opportunities I had. I was able to sit in several different meetings with different businesses, state officials, as well as public figures. Additionally, I attended multiple conferences across Cooperstown, Herkimer, and the Albany area. I've also had the chance to communicate and be a part of several different projects ranging from 8 to 9-figure deals. Highlighting that my favorite would be the Four Corners Business Park, in which I conducted a SWOT analysis, as well as reached out to potential developers in regards to the property. Again, I just wanted to thank everyone, and especially John, for helping me throughout this summer, and I'm very glad to be part of such a great team. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Joe, will this be something you can use when you go back to school as far as credit or anything like that?
I just want more necessarily experience, not as far as credit, but I'll be graduating early regardless, but this definitely helps,
They kicked me out early. I just thought maybe it was a requirement.
Oh, no, I just wanted to do this. I'm all.
Good for you.
Thank you.
I like the cast.
I know. It's like a real news feed.
I'll have you know she did that during lunch at her own time.
Tim's like, I
Good luck, Joseph.
that.
Yeah.
Stay tuned in the email.
Oh, yeah. You remember when he sent that one? That was beautiful. That one email he sent out that you're like,
Another
whoops.
news.
Oh.
With a quick retraction, it wasn't for everybody.
Yeah,
It wasn't for everybody.
Yeah, let's move on to the minutes of June 27th, meeting our business five. Questions, corrections? Anything? Okay. Need a motion to accept those minutes. Motion by Ann, second by Ben. Discussion. In favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Vote carried. Financials are on page 6 of 2012. Questions there before?
Sure, everybody's up to date with their loan payments. If you can notice that year to date, we are high with property maintenance. We've been doing a lot of things to get our parks ready for continued development, as well as, you have to maintain them in order to sell them. So next year, we'll really look at that budget number depending on where we're at. Some of the things we haven't had to do because of the offers and contracts we have on some of the properties in Skyler, we haven't had to mow down again or anything, so that's good, but we need to still keep that front looking good. And we'll talk about some of the things that'll be coming in to that as well today. But everything else we're on track with. As far as with Joe's payroll, we worked out with Oneida County, kind of the same program that Herkimer County has. At the end of it, they'll bill us for the hours. Is it a 50-50 split?
is.
Yeah, so we'll pay half and Oneida County. So I think that's a good way to at least show younger people that there is some opportunities here. So other than that, I think we're good with everything. And next month, you'll see some larger additions to our bottom line. We had some bigger contracts come in and more to follow.
Any other questions?
One thing that stuck out to me, what is unearned revenue? Just stuck out, I don't know.
That was the, trip half money,
Is that what
or
they
that
told us
one
to
we
put
were
it
holding
under?
that, yeah.
We had a project.
Oh.
We had a project that they paid their fee and never went through with the rest of it. But we're not obligated to give them back their fee,
Okay,
and we are choosing not to, and they have no problem.
okay,
So, and you'll see that move on next month's financials, because that was moved to the revenue line.
gotcha. All right, yeah, makes sense. It stuck out.
No, great, thank you. At least we know.
The motion to approve the financials for June. Second by Lana, discussion. On the right. Opposed, nay. Carried. Let's go to this.
Unless Joe has anything to add.
Anything developed in those last?
AJ, got any of your statements?
Fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go to,
Don't give them any ideas a lot.
Mark, you want to do Aaron and, Aaron, take it away.
Well, this is a picture of the banner that is in her community.
Has anyone not noticed that banner when they've driven down Main Street?
I thought it was Wickman County Parish. Are you kidding?
About a month ago?
No.
3 weeks? 2 or 3. So that ties into our BOA grant that we're working with the village on. So we talked to the Department of State the other day, should see that anytime now. Once we get that contract letter in, we have 200,000 from the EPA, so about 400,000 to make Main Street start doing some additional things there. And so it's a good opportunity. And then we had Dave Warner, he's our aerial and great photographer guys, have that picture.
I was just wondering what. First, was prioritized.
Hire a consultant to come in.
Okay, yeah.
That's the first thing they have to do for the planning side.
So I've been using Test Fit. This is Russell Farm. So I put a hotel over here and then the townhomes. That's okay.
You gotta go back. Look how cool that looks. So that's across the street. That's the, yeah. That wouldn't help because we have a packet for potentials.
Is the housing part of it? Very.
Well, that can include that too.
Why don't you show?
Well,
That's
I
the
noticed
choice.
this like 10 years ago. Yes.
Did you have any luck with that contractor? Are you getting anywhere with that?
No. He was supposed to give us something 2 weeks ago.
I'll follow up on that, since he said something to me, and I was like, I gave him the, you guys figured, okay, I'll.
Oh, I ran into one of them, gave him my cards, and Jeremy from Delta supposedly talked to one of them too, and then something.
All right.
Background is a picture of downtown.
Is that Detroit?
Yeah, it's the first.
Very good.
Yeah, I just put this up because I'm making a presentation for the front field.
And that'll be.
Huh?
Will that be in?
My picture will be in it though. Oh, yeah, so Detroit, I'll talk about that a little more. in depth down below. So just some of the other things I want you to be aware of too. Yesterday, when we had a meeting on the harvest facility, Aaron created something for that too, that we used for handouts that really helped explain to the community. Don't you think, Joe, that really helped? when we
Yeah.
Had the meeting with the mayor and the trustees and their attorney. It really helps outline it. You can hand out something and they can get a better understanding and you can walk through that process and show them where things are and how things are included or not. So it was very good to do stuff like that. Now that brings us to a different level, because when we talk to we had a representative from Hodgkin Rust there as well. It brings us to a different level when we go do these presentations and outline the projects to especially the local municipalities that we know are all taxed and they hardly work, they have jobs and families and they have communities they work for. And it's just a lot on their plate. So the easier we can make it for them to understand the better things. And it's been a huge help with what we've been doing there. So.
Anything else? Very good. Item number 8 is the EBR proposal, and it's on 13 to 17. As you know, we are in the process of acquiring some property, and we want to go in a new direction with a new architect and insurance firm. EBR is giving us a proposal here. And
39.
39,000.
Yeah.
John, you have any, concerns?
Sure. They are not an architectural firm. They are, we are hiring them for their civil engineering support on this, strictly what we're going to be doing with them, not environmental services. We compared apples to apples. I've been actively talking. I can't even tell you how many different engineering firms, and we'll get more into Delta down the road here. But EDR is a firm that myself and Mr. Bowen met probably 3 years ago. We've been in touch. I've been in touch with their lead engineer, and then received this quote and gave them really the comparison from what BCA, a firm up in Watertown, compared to Syracuse. And you can see, and I did not give them the numbers. They actually, I gave them the outline of what they needed to fill in, and you can see where they are. Some things a little more pricey, which I'm happy with. Other things not so much, and then a lot of it will be adjusted on the side of EBR when they see that the needs are not there. So I'm going to recommend that we go with EDR and start a relationship with them. And I can further talk about why we need that in upcoming other reports, but that would be my recommendation.
Questions, concerns? Motion to go with EBR. Leanne, second, Alana, discussion. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
So we're gonna get into Delta.
Yep.
later, or?
Oh, yeah, that's coming up. on 13.
Item number 9, there's no meet today, LLC 1833, application of financial assistance. CDA, yeah,
Project estimated cost is $186,500,000 or $500,000. This is a game changer for us in upstate New York. You can see all the data is in here. We met with them yesterday just to outline we were moving ahead with this. It still has to go through their planning, not zoning. Zoning is already good and in place. So we're very confident on what's there. You can see the complete description of what the project is. You can see that the cost benefit analysis as well. It's about a 9-to-1 ratio. We're very excited about that. High paying jobs. By no means does this mean this is the end of, what we need to do for this project. It's just pretty much the beginning. It does bring us over, right on the goal line, and now we're, working with all of the municipalities for water and sewer, and we're working with National Grid on gas and electric, and there'll just be a lot of things that'll need to happen in this forward. So, but this is the step we needed. This will help assist with us going after some additional financial support that we did do already.
Another project will plan to go on our balance sheet.
No, because we're not gonna get, anything. Yeah, so we won't receive a part of their, application, or not their application fee, but part of our, agency fee for a little bit of time. I'm anticipating before the end of the year, at least half of it.
Need a motion to accept. And second, discussion. Right. Item 10, the local gas ADK 34 to 48, the purchase agreement there.
Sure. So in here is agreement, local gas ADK is, the same company now that owns, the ADK in, the Frankfurt Business Park. So they are looking at roughly a, 4,000 square foot, facility over in the new Skylar business, and our existing Skylar Business Park, not the new one. Located right in the front of the park. And, waiting at the bit, you know. So, chopping at the bit. They did send in a deposit, which you have, right? So we have that check. Yeah, so that's a deposit on the land. We're working on the application now to move ahead. They'll be wanting to get in front of the planning board soon. As you know, we're changing that entrance in the front. We'll talk about that next, but, so that all ties in together.
Any estimation on when you think they can open
It'll be next year.
next year?
Yeah, but you look at right now, it's, already almost August.
Really?
Yeah, it's the end of July. You know, August,
You know, that's gonna benefit not just the park. I mean,
there's 800 mobile homes in a 3-mile radius there. Well,
Manufactured
are
housing.
they gonna change the name of the road, Joe?
Yeah. That's an important factor for this business as well. They're looking at, a whole, pardon? They're looking at a whole, host of, different things there too, from coffee drives through the, diesel pumps, the whole thing. So, yeah, includes, you should be starting soon too, so we should see some good things happen. Not a car wash to start, but down the road.
I bought some stock in the deals, because he's gonna be busy. I knew it.
No, I'll tell you later. Tony represents the IDA, but they have a different attorney now. They're using that, where's their new attorney?
They're using Steve Eco, city attorney, the Pepsi warehouse.
All right, we need a motion to accept purchase agreement. Tim, second, Alana, discussion. Favor aye, on the opposed nay. Let's go with the item 11, the Skylar Business Park configuration. There's a map there. For your viewing pleasure there, and they'll tell you what's proposed, John.
Sure. So what we've been doing there so far is meeting with DOT, our consultants, Delta, their traffic safety group. And due to the traffic projected from the park, it's for safety reasons, it's best that we put in a stoplight at that location. So what we've done is you can kind of see the drawings, how there'll be some turning lanes. That entrance will be moved a little bit more to the west. There'll be a 3-way stoplight put up in that location. We've already met with National Grid to move. Well, that's in here
The
too.
overlay, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the survey map as well. You can see it here too. with the way it's cut out by the Dodge lines. So we met with, National Grid, they're moving the poles, we had to cut down some trees. Our sign won't be affected by it, you'll see more of a loop to get in. You know, in and out of the park with the lights, we've also requested signage along Route 5. And Business Park, you know, approaching Business Park or Business Park ahead. So we also applied for Fast New York for this grant, and they have it now and they're reviewing. But we're roughly figuring about $500,000 to $700,000 to put in this entrance and light. So we don't have really much of a choice on that, but that's where we're going. I don't mind because of safety. I think it's truly important that we do that, and that'll really build out the park.
5 to 700 internal road, 5 turn lane and the light.
And the light, that is correct.
Any other comments? Questions?
I think that we vote to move ahead with the project. Needs to come.
Need a motion to move ahead? John and Tim, discussion? All in favor, aye. Any opposed, nay. Carried. New to our agenda is the attorney. Phelps Evans is giving. Or Phelps, go ahead.
That's okay.
Mr. Evans.
I can't convince the guys to change the name of their permit for 200 years. I understand it. I'll start with ADK, John. Talking to Mike Emmerich on that. I'm waiting for the full-size maps. We're going in for our third reallotment of that area to reconfigure. That's from the Calucci. As soon as Mike gets me those maps, I'll go for the staff planning board to have that re-subdivided. I don't expect any issues that should go within 60 days. We're still under contract to purchase or sell the Miravato property. All the title work has been delivered. Waiting to hear from council. I believe it's complete. And as soon as they get the go ahead, we should be able to close that.
I did talk to Morabito and I talked to Brett Hughes, who's the ground guy, and he said that they need to get the site laid out and go in front of the planning board as part of their due diligence. I don't recall seeing that in the application or in their, was it in their purchase agreement that they would have to?
It's generally in all the purchase
I didn't
agreements.
explain. I looked at it again. I probably looked right on it, but that was my only, I thought that we would schedule a closing, but they want to wait till they do that. And then we just talked about what they're gonna put on the property. Maybe some of it, we talked about that too. So we don't see an issue with that at all. It's actually great for us because it's in, and I never thought we could do anything. Mr. Bono thought we could, which was good that we always kept that in our mind. And when they needed that certain area, I talked to Jim about it. He said, yeah, push that one. And I did. And they were happy with it for storage facility for them. So it works out. And they're going to make it look nice. And if you haven't been to the park lately, you really need to, because across the street from where this is, Skylar Wood Pellet is really expanding and cleaning out that area and really making it look nice. So, I mean, it's, the park is really premier with our sign and everything else. So we just want to keep that. But sorry, Tony.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Please. Project Jefferson. Council is okayed that to close. Pushing and pushing, and keep blaming the title company. We're not signing off yet. As far as I'm concerned, everything has been delivered. Linda Romano, who represents them, has given me insurance that they're ready to close, but we still haven't set a closing. So I will continue to push.
I did talk to one of their partners last week. He was on vacation in Tennessee. And he told me that's full steam ahead and we should be seeing an application very soon as well. So probably close to 150,000 square foot facility and probably about 100 employees. So it looks very promising. I'm anticipating we'll close in August as well as receive their application for financial assistance. I don't think it's gonna happen next week.
It could if they said so, but I'm not expecting it at this point. Summer.
I know that we could sell that property in the weekend. So they don't. So my exact as well.
Okay, thank you. Turning to Skylar 2, John, I have for your signature, both the Christina and Giuliano contracts. We have a deal on both of those properties. I need your signature and 2 deposit checks.
which we have those too.
Okay, excellent. And as soon as I assume our new engineering firm, EDR or Mike Emmer, can get me some mapping. I'm prepared to go before the planning board to consolidate and get the zone change over there.
I met with Mike Emmerich there 2 weeks ago. This week and next, he should be doing that. He already started the paperwork inside. He'll always be our surveyor, so, but, EDR, we did a lot already on those 2 properties. We did SHPO, we did environmental, a couple other things. I can't really follow. Yes, we will need to do seeker, especially for the zoning change on that, which I anticipate no issue whatsoever.
Yes. Yeah. We get it out.
But I don't think, the reason why I don't think that'll be an issue, probably 6 or 8 months ago, I went in front of the town of Schuyler and said, look, I want a resolution from you guys saying that you'll support further economic development in your town. And they passed that unanimously. I know it's like an open-ended resolution, but they all feel strongly in favor, and so does the planning board. We meet with them all the time. I'm not concerned truly about them denying us that. I think on the seeker, we might get an opposition, maybe one. But after a conversation we had with an elected official about that state agency, I think we're in a better position right now too. So we'll talk more about that later. But this is 76 acres, 76. That we'll be tearing down the barn and the house soon, and we'll get moving on everything, and we'll talk about some other stuff with that too later.
Okay, we have 3 pending solar projects with Sunny's. Pleased to say, I think we've received. Watkins is not good to go yet. Yeah, it's going to put some litigation.
So next week.
We're anticipating, but we've received the fees. The due diligence checklists are out there. I've received some of the information. It's enough if you want to issue the SB60s.
We're taking your recommendation.
At this point in time.
All 3 of those? we can
On
issue?
all 3 of those.
Okay.
Good to go.
So the ST60 allows them to purchase things tax exempt. So if we assign them the ST60, they can assign their contractors who need to buy these products, the fencing, gravel, things like that, that are for the project that are taxable. So that's a great thing to move this forward now with all 3 of those. And we received half of the fees for all of those, for 3 of those projects already.
And these fees are all upfront and non-refundable.
Yes, they are.
Manheim Business Park Water Agreement. I just received the last evening a markup from Chet and Ms. Chrisman. I have not had a chance to review it. I will do that this afternoon and get you my comments. You get you a copy of that. Apologies.
No,
I
that's
just got it.
We met
That's a
with
little
Chet
bit.
yesterday and he said he just got it from her too. And I said, that's great from October. That's great. I think our first email was in
October, first complete grant, beginning of March. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, what, I got it, but
It's a contract between the city of Little Falls and Dodgeville, for the city of Little Falls to provide surplus water for a great number of years going forward. To the village and
well, just to the business part
the
of this.
business part.
So it's only going to this to start. Afterwards, they can do whatever, but if we didn't make them the sole user of this water, we'd have to go through a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're gonna run the water line from a top point in Little Falls that's already treated water and bring it to our business park to service the meatpacking facility.
nice try.
And it's only 4 miles, 4.5 miles.
That's not.
See, I don't know that way. either.
Drive too
First,
slow.
I'm thinking it's 25 miles. And I'm going, holy, how are we gonna do this? And then Dan thought, oh, it's 4.5 miles. And look, we go this. No, no, we're using all road easements. It's all that road. Yeah, I was shocked too. And maybe 1 pump, or maybe not. We're not even sure about that yet. And so it's pretty cool, 1 billion gallons a day. That's what they're, but they have plenty of water, so. And he was good about that yesterday too.
So what is this? Chet just got it recently.
Chet just got it, and he said he would push it through quickly. He had, they have some changes. new election issues.
And the last thing I had sent over yesterday, revisions to the term sheet.
Yeah, well, we want to go in executive session.
That's all I have to say.
Ready, Mr. Evans? Does anybody have questions?
Comments, complaints, yes,
Complaints, yeah.
very good.
All right, let's go to the Delta projects update. And give us this week.
I'm not at all, and if they were sitting right here, I'd say the same thing, and myself and Mr. Bono, I've had many conversations with them. It's just not working out. When Dan Falzinski left and went to the Water Authority, their main driver here in our area left too. They've been good, I think. Maybe Tony or Jimmy would have comments on the entrance to the park. I think between Chris Mabey and Bill Seaman, who was a former director of DOT, has really supported us well there. Do you think, Tony?
I agree.
But as far as the rest of it, I can't get answers. I get generic things back. Oh, I gotta call him. No, I haven't talked to him about it. They gave this other gentleman, and there's nothing against him except for the fact that he's way overworked. They gave him all of our projects as well as what he's been working on. We should have been so much further ahead with a lot of things. So there were several questions that I asked him, including what's going on in the park now with Home Depot, the Project Orange Crush there. Yesterday I saw the gas lines going in. There's been a trailer in our road for a month and a half now. I asked them to have it moved. Where's the updated SWIP reports on everything if they've closed it out for the building? Is their water tank for pressure, is that all stabilized? I shouldn't be asking these questions. And in all honesty, I shouldn't even know these questions, I mean, I'm not a civil engineer, but I'm prying things out of this guy and I'm not getting the answers. And I ask the same questions all the time. Why is it this way? Where is this? Why is that gas line here? Why is the electric line here? Here's the water line. Who's monitoring that? I'm not gonna have them come back. This is still the IDA's part. You have to be on top of this. And it's just not working out. Russell Farms, another example. We got the approval from the State Department, Department of Health. We're not getting bids in. We're trying to do different things. He says, oh, if we could do this way, we probably get more bids. So I call up the county. He says, yeah, you don't need to sleep. You're doing this. So, okay. We get no bids in. They're using a service. I go, are you following up? Why would I follow up? That's what we pay you for. You send me a bill that you did this on the bid, but you're not doing it on the bid if we're not getting anything. I'm calling all these people trying to get it to work. I dealt with John Stevens, the mayor in Ilion as well, to find who they were working with. And John helped us with that, but they still didn't do a bid. It's up to him to be pushing this. I don't have the time or the knowledge. If they ask me a question, can we go 3 feet instead of 5? I don't even know what the difference would be. I have a call into our county now, highway guy, to see if we can just dig up the road and come back and put it back instead of directional drilling under it. Because we're not getting the bids and everybody's busy. We have to get this going. If we don't get the water and sewer over, we're not going to get the development happening. So they're just not doing their job. Manheim, we have a WIA grant that we're gonna have to get an extension on. We should have had the tank up already. We have the money, everything's in place, the study's done, and it's just sitting. Every time I call, oh, I'm waiting to get this guy, I'm waiting. Then get a different guy, then call 20 other people, and he doesn't have the time or the resources.
What's our payment schedule?
Yeah, per project and per outline. They give us a very detailed bill on what they do. No.
So should we hold back till we get responses or?
I don't agree in holding back on anything if they do that part of it. So it's not like he said, okay, pay me for getting the geotech done where the wells go, where the tanks going in Manheim. Because they haven't done it, it's not working. And to hold them hostage on other things that we have had them do that they've done okay with us, especially like the entrance to the road or what they did for the Masonic or for dual fold. That wouldn't be the way to really do things. We're penalizing one group It'd be like, oh, social services, that said, help me out, but I'm not paying them for travel.
So what's the long-term solution to this? Are they backfilling their positions to stuff to work out? What, I mean, because we're at their mercy on these particular projects, so it's their solution to,
They have no solution, that's why I'm looking for other engineers.
for new projects.
No, I'm gonna pull them out of this.
So you're going to transfer.
I'm gonna have to, because I can't wait. I don't think, in my gut opinion, and it's only my opinion, nobody else has said this. They have not hired people and they've lost more in their civil engineering. I can see this office here not being able to sustain. That would really hurt us.
Just on your point, I made contact with that company, our water main company, and he's as frustrated as you because he's not getting numbers back for directional drilling. So he's gonna see if he can have something for you by the end of the week, which will be tomorrow. But he can't get any numbers either.
That's what we're gonna do.
So,
So that'd be up to you guys to help with that.
I mean, he's gonna get on it and hopefully make contact with you
Thank
today
you,
or
John. Hold back his payments like Jim said.
tomorrow.
It's a valid.
You never want to hold back a
So-
big
Yeah.
construction guy's payments.
Absolutely.
Oh, they do.
That gets their attention and they'll worry. We have everything. There's nothing held back. They don't have,
Well, story, but in certain circumstances, if they're not.
we only pay when they use the hours. It's not like, yeah, it's always done on the hourly charge basis. They give us a rough estimate of, say, $17,000. They've used up hours for this, hours for this, hours for this.
We're getting like slow.
Slow, years. It's way too, it's not even beneficial to us. So a couple of things that, we talked about the bidder there, Project Orange Crush, I got nothing. Manheim the same way. They were helping us with the sewer project as well for the processing facility, the harvest facility. It never followed up. I finally got something back from DNL on that. It's just it's a nightmare. So I need to get some group that I can trust now. When I think they're all gonna be like a Dan Falzinski, and I will use his name as many times as I can know. When we maybe have to use, EDR for, Four Corners and maybe somebody different for Manheim, because maybe we go out of Albany for that one. I'm still talking to engineers all the time. I ask everybody to introduce me to people. Who do they like? The gentleman I keep mentioning likes EDR. That's a bonus for me too, because he's gonna have to deal with them and everybody. So it's a tough situation. I don't know. It's hard to get your arms around it and it's not like we're just focusing on one small project. That's the problem. They're all over the place and they're not managed properly by them. I'm constantly asking for that feedback, constantly saying, why aren't you calling him? And I'm calling the Geo guys and I'm calling everybody. So not that I have a problem with that. I know that's part of my position, but however, I'm not a civil. So my recommendation is going to be to move on from them for many things now.
HRP, project updates.
Unless you want to hire me a civil that we can bring just in for here. Dedicated civil engineer that we hire, and then we'll farm them out to the county when they need them. We'll farm them out to the communities when we need them. That kind of attitude does not cut it with me. I say we hire a young one, they got a school, we're not doing surgery. That's my opinion. Get somebody young who doesn't.
Why don't you go like a Clarkson and say, they must have programs where they have interns or not even interns. But
We need a professional engineer, so we had to have to pass everything to sign off on this. That's the only thing. So we can't really take an intern out of Clarkson and not.
well, then we have a list of graduates that.
Of course, just like 40 other engineering firms will hire too.
So just. Best in the price, you get a pick of the litter, I guess. You're saying,
Well, let's look at it in two ways. The companies that pay the most and give them the most opportunity has to pick them. Government probably doesn't get that big of an opportunity.
All right. We tried.
Well, you have good points, however,
Without certain certifications.
yeah.
John, the check, handle that, bro? See,
Who?
check.
Oh, yeah, but Chad will never leave what he's doing.
How do you know that?
Oh, I've had conversations. He loves what he's doing, covering both communities and having able time to do all these other things that Chad really needs to do. Yeah,
We can share them.
well, he's kind of thin now because of everything going on in the city and the village of Dollarville, so he has both of those communities now. Yeah, oh, no, it's a great thought, and I kind of poked at him for that too. But he likes that time that he has to do all of these other things Chet likes to do. You know, that aren't work related. Yeah, he's a big outdoorsman, he does a lot of woodwork, he does a lot of different things. He does not sit still. No, but we're gonna have to move on from.
Okay, let's talk about your,
HRP, great company. Doing a lot there with them. We have a monthly meeting with them. We talk to them all the time, but with our EDA grant, we'll talk a little bit about our grants in a minute. We're working hard to get chips to a point that we can turn it over to the town. There's good and bad about chips. Chips does not really have any ground contamination. Chips tanks are still solid. It's the most bizarre thing. No one can believe it. I mean, we were in the tanks the other day or a couple weeks ago now, probably. And no water in them. They're clean. Well, they're not clean, they're empty. So we're trying to figure out the best way. We're working with the DEC, we're working with the controller's office to see what money we can get to either go in and clean them and fill them in place or go in and take them out. But by them not being contaminated, that causes an issue and no one wants to fund that. You know, I know Jimmy knows guys that would go dump gas in those for us if we needed to.
$50.
But we can't do that. And I say, that's what I want to do, because we really could move on with Chip. We've talked to Solid Waste Authority about helping us. The town is willing to take it and make it that bike path and put something good. I get a call from the billboard guy or an email every other month. Where are you? We're ready. They'll turn it over to the town, so the town will get a little revenue and bring some new lights in. It's just a win-win for every community, except it's not dirty. Here's an ancient gas station that's not dirty. You can't make this up. So I'm still plugging away in that, and we have a lot of different people working on that.
You're saying the grant funds are limited because the property doesn't show any contamination outside of the tank.
Yeah,
So
well,
I think
except-
cleaning up a, property like that. Have some sort of unfair.
you would think. So our next step is to pitch the fact that we believe underneath the tanks, it could be contaminated. And the only way to tell that, EPA, is for you to give us money to lift those tanks out. And then we'll look at it underneath. I don't know if that's gonna work, but we've been talking about it. The next thing is too, we're have a lot of other testing going on. Some additional testing at the dual fold property. We also have a revolving loan fund with Edge that we're working on getting out there as well. We've also applied for some other grants that we'll talk about in our grant update that HRP has helped us with. We've done those projects like with the Newport School, the Pine Grove School up in East Herkimer. On Main Street, we've requested to have a couple of properties. We have a couple of properties that we want to take temporary ownership to get into to see, because they haven't paid their taxes, to see if there's any remnants there of anything in Old Tank. Believe it or not, in Main Street where the BOA grant's gonna be, which HRP has created that interactive map that we have. Is that on our website yet? The interactive, no, we're gonna have to set up a page for that soon, okay? So the interactive map will allow you to click on a property, it goes back into the Sanborn maps. They'll talk about the old gas stations that were there, because a lot of people had fuel pumps at their house for cars, because there were no gas stations, so I think that's pretty cool too. So we're going through all of these there, and we'll really be able to do some changes. but HRP has been a very good, and those are the projects that.
Additional work would be our-
There's some PFAS, the state is, and the feds have raised some things up on, PFAS right now. We need to check those levels. But nothing's moving anymore on the site. There's 2 hotspots that are left. And then we're pretty close, with the mayor of Ilion to have that signed off on with the developer. The developer knows everything that's going on in there, and it's just a matter of if they apply for the brownfield cleanup program or not. But everything else, has pretty much been identified. There might be a vapor test or like a radon type test done if anything happens in the parking lot across the street. But it's only been houses and a parking lot, so there's no contamination that we've ever seen over there. Nothing's migrated that way. We did some tests in the road and it migrates towards the river, but we never tested further down than that. That's gonna be on the previous owner's Unisys to do that stuff. But we don't see anything like in the back part of the property. And when I say the back, I mean the one back by where the food truck rally is back there. We didn't find anything there either. It's more been up there. On the whole property, there's a little bit of everything. Because back in the day when they tore down a building, they just spread it around. But it wasn't like it was chemical or different chemicals there. There might be some arsenic at low levels, nothing that exceeds any levels. Some different types of metals might be there from them spreading it around, but that's not a big deal.
When is it ever designated a brownfield?
Anything can
Is it
be a
now
brownfield.
or-
There's really no absolute definition for a brownfield. So it's when you go and you start the process of working on different studies on the property. So across the street, say that was an old dry cleaner, just for example. Okay, gas station, sure. So, but now you can't even tell the way it's all filled in and all of that. So then you think, well, that's a brownfield because it did have one. You go do all the studies on it, you check the ground out, you see when the tank was removed, see if there's anything open on it. If it doesn't show it, it's not a brownfield. This is a brownfield,
Right.
you know? So I mean, these are just things that on an everyday basis, there's a lot of hair on properties, but there's some different things. Just that they've been excellent to work with and they really do support, they'll meet with anybody and any topics that we want.
Item 15, Victoria, you want to run us through all those?
Sure. So we have several grants that are either open or in the process of being applied for or recently applied for. So for the CARES grant, we have expended all of the funds for that, but the paperwork side of it is not complete. We will still need to complete the closeout process with the Office of Homes and Community Renewal. For the Dodgeville BOA, we're getting to the end of that. The nomination study has been submitted to the Department of State. So hopefully that will be a designated BOA area. The village had a meeting on this Monday of this week to accept the seeker and the nomination study. So we should be working to close that out shortly.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but can you think about really how many hours that our office, including me, you, Stacy, Aaron, Jen, not Joe per se, but he has been involved, but we put towards that project.
Lot.
That's good.
I don't know.
At least
At
100.
least 100 hours, yes, and we do keep track of that and submit that to the state as part of our reporting.
So what we do and what Victoria does, what Victoria does is she keeps track of all of our hours. Even we have a conference call at nights and weekends. We went to different things for this BOA to show that we're all behind it. And even though we don't get money for those hours, it shows the Department of State that us being part of these grants truly do support it. And that's what's in.
And what's the next step?
Then it's nominated. If it gets nominated into the BOA, then we start working with them about the next stage, which is planning, more planning, going after grant opportunities, working with developers, a whole host of new things.
And if they are nominated, that they take priority over others when you apply for additional funding. So if the other entities, oh, they're nominated, they grow kind of ahead. of-
maybe
of
5%,
their rate.
5-point stores that are 10 points depending on the other. things. So if we go for like a local waterfront improvement grant now, that gives us more points towards that, because that Main Street area of Downsville was on the water.
Victoria have to go to like sit with Tony's secretary because attorneys bill you for every second, so.
How she learned, yeah, we actually do better. So, it's not his secretary, she's phenomenal.
The Herkimer Boa, we are
That's fine.
still waiting to receive the contract from DOS. They're behind, they're saying it's out there, but we have yet to see the official contract. But we're still kind of working on things with that because of using the EPA grant in conjunction. So we're still trying to move things along with the EPA grant.
Who called from what senator's office to tell us we got that?
Walzak.
Walzak. So they saw it, but nobody's got it.
I know we're not yet. EPA Brownfield grant, that is going well. Like John said earlier, we do have a meeting with them monthly. We talk with them about different sites all throughout the month. The reporting is going well. So just trying to keep that moving forward.
It's about a 50-page document every quarter. And then all the documentation that shows the time that we spent on that too. We keep track of those hours. So if you, we have a spot that we all go in and put our hours, or one of Victoria and Jen pays attention to that more. So we can keep track of all of those, because once again, the EPA looks at, you get so much in administration fee, but we go well past that. They just like to see that we truly are.
The WIA grant for the water tower at Manheim Business Park, it is still active. It is up at the end of this year, September. We will be requesting an extension on that. CDBG countywide housing study, we are in the process of working with the county to apply for a countywide housing study. So that will be fun, hopefully to bring in a consultant to assess the housing needs of the entire town.
So the county on a lot of these grants, because it's federal funds, they have to apply. We can't apply, and we take over and be the administrator. But before you even get the grant, we have several hours, if not more, of things that have to be done in paperwork in order to get to that point. And we worked with 2 different consultants for them to get that housing study plan to us. So it's not just calling them up, hey, yeah, give me a housing study. Okay, here you go. You know, it's hours that we still spend on this. You know, and these guys are, when you're a consultant, they'll work overtime. So one night I'm on the phone with them from like 7 to 9, just talking about housing in Herkimer County and what we see. And, you know, it's because that's the time that they can talk the best, and you want the best quotes in order to get these grants. And both of the firms that we submitted, or that we have opportunities for, have both been approved by the state for several projects. So that's another plus for us as well.
CDBG micro enterprise, we are in the process of applying for $300,000 in micro enterprise funds. That would be very similar to the grant we had prior to the CARES grant for businesses with 5 or fewer employees.
No. There's more.
There's more. Countywide BOA, that will be through the Department of State, so that will be an application through the IDA. But it will be to assess, hopefully get the entire county. And they will not designate the entire county, but we want to assess the brownfields throughout the entire county.
So that will give us a chance to look at a Main Street in Newport, a Main Street in Frankfurt, maybe the town of Warren, some area there. And we can do the entire, and get us more of a chance to have some opportunities when they're looking to do, say, a town-wide planning study, to get them more grant opportunities, because we put this in place for them. So that's once again the county. Oh, no, we're applying for that
We
one
will apply for
ourselves.
that.
Yeah, you already voted. Okay, sorry.
Local government efficiency for zoning update, that would be to get funding in to update the zoning for all 30 municipalities in the county. Fast New York, John mentioned a little bit earlier, that's for the entryway at Skylar Business Park and the water tower. That application has been submitted. according to the Empire State Development, not many applications have been submitted for that. So we have a good feeling that we're going to get approved for that. We've reached out and said, hey, do you have any questions? And they say we're in the process of looking at it, and hopefully they will get back to us with either questions or approval.
One of the things we found when we had our call with them, see, because we just can't throw the grant down. They told us we were one of the only ones that submitted everything. By, when I mean everything, the quotations that would do the project, the studies, the entire package. So many of them, including some of our neighbors, went down there and submitted 80% of it and thought they could get it that way. This money's not that. We know it's designed mostly for Micron, at least 200 million of it. And if we can get a few million ourselves out of this, we'd be very happy.
Would they at all communicate what the closeout date for applications will be for FAST?
There isn't one. It's a first come, first serve, and it's till the money runs out. And they have not made any awards yet because they haven't seen all the data. But we have a good contact there that we've worked with for years now. And she says we're in a very good position. But most places, when they apply, don't do that. They'll send it in and, okay, yeah, well, you know, you gotta really push, not push, but talk. We don't push anybody, but we talk to them all the time.
Yeah.
Not at the state, not for grants.
For EPA technical assistance, EPA has assisted through for planning. So we're having conversations with them for planning dollars for the Masonic, Quackenbush, and Bill School site. And they have a technical assistance grant also, which we're looking for Charlestown.
Question for Victoria. All right, let's go to comments by elected officials. Guys. Pete, then Peter.
I'm very excited about having the hotel in Frankfurt, finally getting a hotel, another source of the bed tax. On the slide there, I didn't know what those little square buildings were. What are those for?
It just shows the building outline. It could be different. The square ones up on the hill are townhouse possible or some type of apartments, nicer though. And then down below, that's where the hotel is.
And one other question, wasn't there plans of a hospitality center or something?
Well, a venue strategy study, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. We have a study, we all got the results back and we'll have a little conversation.
Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, no worries.
Pete, for the record, that we have a hotel, well, that's what we're marketing there, corner for, so don't be spreading with one another.
No, I didn't say.
Well, no,
Yeah,
it's
it's there.
okay.
It's
We
there.
have it out there. We've been actively promoting that.
Well, people know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, people have interest in building one there. It's just getting someone to sign. Can't do anything without water and sewer. Pete. Yep. So in your next retirement career, if you want to buy one of those directional buildings, I can see you out there doing it.
Not Stevens, anything?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay, Dana.
They were attacked.
From, 71 Functions Office. You'd like to.
Good morning. Just, I don't know, I'm sure you guys are aware because you're on top of everything, that the governor made an announcement of an executive order this week for housing assistance, $650 million.
You want to give us a little bit on that?
So I gotta look up the executive order. She did it like day before yesterday and I haven't a chance to look it up, but it's $650 million put into a fund for pro-housing communities. So and I think it's 50 units and above. I don't know what you guys have in the works, but I can get you the copy of the executive order.
But it's not for low income housing, what we're doing. And she did this because she couldn't get the 800, the other one passed.
Right.
And she's not tying this to any grants, is she? So I'm
Not
not
that I
gonna,
know of, but you do have to jump through some hoops. There has to be resolutions. There has to be, you have to share data and stuff like that, but
I
I'll
worry
get-
about store grants or any of my other CFAs that when we apply to do some of these brownfields that she's not demanding, we put Section 8 housing in them. That's just the wrong thing to demand.
well, plus if you don't do housing, she's gonna hold back other state funding, so. There's a lot to it.
So she can't get it passed through the normal channel. She creates an executive order and now she's gonna hold us all hostage. I'm just trying to get it all straight in my head.
No, yeah, that's a good summary.
So she backed off that 800 originally during budget time.
Oh, so she can do her own giddy up and hold us hostage for everything else, right? Makes sense. I'm not blaming you, Dana, for all of it. For some of it, I am.
We were pals.
Well, thank you. Okay, anyone?
Well, I'll go through some.
Project updates.
Sure, I know we've done a lot already. I'm sorry, but we're gonna go through a couple more things. Watkins Road Solar, we talked about that in case anybody needed to know. LDC meeting, once again, guys, please try to be here at 2 o'clock on July 31st. We're gonna talk about the LDC and the LLC. As that beautiful picture of myself showed, that I will be in Detroit from August 8th through 11th. I am presenting at the conference. It should be another good one for us. There'll be more grant opportunities. When we talk about that EPA technical assistance planning grant and the technical assistance grant, being at these conferences really does help us get more money from the EPA and showing that we're willing to help. August 4th, we're a sponsor for a site selector meeting, 8 a.m. at the Mohawk Valley Community College. I recommend you all be there. Erin will be happy to sign you up. Please let her know. It's free, but we're a sponsor with Edge on that. One of the site selectors was here before. They're going to give us a good idea what workforce needs to look like. On August 15th at 8 a.m., we're going to have a budget workshop where we'll go through the budget again. We need to have that submitted by the end of August. So board members, please try to attend that meeting as well. Venue strategies, I emailed all of you out the venue strategies packet. He does do some recommendations in there. We will hold a meeting again. He doesn't recommend that we do music venue. He says there's too much competition for that, but he does recommend we do court and turf inside. Roughly about a $56 million project. Where it goes from here, we'll have that meeting, invite everybody who was there before, and we'll see what we can get out of that. But quite interesting. I know I sent it to the board. Please get a chance to read that. You'll find it interesting as well. Town of Herkimer, Pine Grove School. A lot of the planning has been done there already. We hired Weston and Sampson to help us with that. The next thing they need to do is a structural engineering report. I believe we'll have some funding to help them with that. I'll bring that all to you. Right now, Weston and Sampson are sending their engineers there to get a rough idea on what the quote would be. And from that, we would then take the structural reports and do a actual full drawing of the building. We can't find drawings or prints of the building. And then that would help them move ahead with other additional funding to get that back populated and things happening in East Herkimer, Florida. I had an interesting meeting yesterday with the real estate people for Ames True Temper, the site for the old Union Tool. And we'll have a discussion about some positioning about that later on in executive session. Town of Warren is putting a solar project in, a community solar project. It's the town of Warren. I'm thinking that name last night. Small one, but it looks good. It's actually going into the grid through New York State Electric and Gas. It's our first one with them. I'm excited to see what happens there. It's out on an area that I didn't even know there was a substation. I guess that's a good thing. So we'll let everybody know what's going on there. The mayor will have a finished contract for the dual fold hopefully this week. We'll be bringing them in to have some discussions and with his board to let them know everything that's going on. And I see only a positive from it moving ahead. We have, they're aware of everything that's going on with the property. They've been aware of it from day one. If you had to print everything out, it would probably cover this whole line of tables on all the data that we have on that site as far as contamination, brownfield, where it's spread, what's good, what's bad, natural attenuation of the chemicals, how they've been breaking down, the asbestos in the building, everything. We've done it all. So we're excited to move ahead with that. Yeah, natural attenuation of the chemicals in the ground is broken down with time. And so there's not the stable, full amount of that chemical. It's more of a breakdown of it. And that's what shows that it's naturally attenuated off the property, which is great. It's municipal water, so you don't have to worry about that. It goes down to really where the hard pan level is and just starts to break down, so it's in a good spot. And I think that's it for open session. We will ask, Shannon to stay on. And then, we can go through some other
We have some advice that council would take and,
contract and property review. Personnel, what do you think for the Joe Bono?
Pete, we will need a motion for an executive session.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right, Dana, thank you. You too.
All right, we're all done. Thanks, Sam.
Motion by Lana, second by John Solano. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are in. Yeah, I'll give you a call later.
Yeah, please.
You want to
Let's
stop
do
the
it.
recording, but leave, or no.
Good luck. Motion come out of executive session, Dana and Alana. Any discussion? If they're aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Let the record show that we did vote on.
Amazon
Amazon
The
parking
parking. And.
Piece of land. Have to be specific. And both of those were approved. Any discussion? Okay.
We don't want to close out.
No, I-
So, ask your question again, please.
With regards to the EPA technical assistance plan, I see that document is listed down there. Involved in discussions.
So I had a meeting, myself and Corey Albrecht with the Herkimer 9 about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. They told us a bunch of things, and then the next day he started tearing down the village and stuff. I thought it was quite good. The timing, because that was not really discussed. Well, if she went, but she's staying on the whole meeting. Go ahead.
Could have been planned.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So I said, well, you know, you have the BCP program, which they're really not fully in yet because they're shy about $150,000, but instead they used it to tear up the front parking lot in the back, which is okay. That's up to them. He owns the building. Why we requested this is because of the BOA and everything still needs a plan. I think it needs to be shown, especially we get $100 grand from the EPA. Especially it needs to be shown that what he wants to do there can't work out. It'll give him a true, the payback on what he's doing. No, a true pro forma. It'll give him a true pro forma. It'll get him understanding what can really happen in that building. But we're gonna have outside eyes look at it. So as part of the BOA, we wanted to try to incorporate everything. Quackenbush does have a name with the EPA and the DEC, so it stands to reason we should be able to get that money. So, and we'll work closely with that and let them know the facts. Instead of just making up some slides and baloney, we'll let them know facts. I think it's well worth it for us to spend some time and pump that through.
Do we still extend, our help, like, have they paid taxes on it?
They have not.
So
Well, not on the building, on two, there's 4 parcels. And the 2 up by Herkimer, by Main Street, they haven't paid. The other 2 go back on the rolls because the county voted to for the spring.
Right,
No, not 2 years.
so does that at all impact any sort of benefits that we would, help extend to them?
Well, we won't-
otherwise?
Yeah, we can't give them any benefits. This grant right here is planning grant. A lot of the properties they do are distressed and all of that, so I don't
So
see a
it's
problem
not-
with that one. But I do see a problem with they'll never get National Grid money. National Grid money, I'll say, well, where's this?
In good- So they have to be in good
Then they
standing
won't
for-
get that standard. Or state money, really, if we scrutinize. You know, but I see mounds of dirt there this morning, says he wants green space on Main Street in Herkimer. I asked what for? I said for the, I don't see a sense in it. I can't get my arms around green space right there.
They gave you last year.
Can't answer that.
And
Can't answer.
He's
He's not paying for it. This guy Jay Rosen gave him some money. Jay Rosen bought the old church on Main Street, the Methodist church, and he also bought the church over by the police station. What he's gonna do, I don't know. Keeps asking me to come over and meet with him. I never will. He wants to do something with the trolley bridge too. He's been on it. I said, that ain't gonna change. Oh, who cares? I said, okay, who cares?
I've never seen that.
Jersey.
Owns an island near the Statue of Liberty. Is it a moving island? Did he tie a bunch of logs together? Is it part of the plane that went in? Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, his name's on the wall. Yeah.
Our clerks always get a view of them, because our office, legislative officer right there, and comes out with very, fast robe, and just coffee or drinks beer on the booth. Goes out and it's just like-
Yeah, who cares?
I mean, if he does, he does it.
Yeah.
Each their own.
It's all-
Well, it's-
So they were provided money through a private source to do the improvements that they're doing now, but in order to, you know, obtain additional other grants, next, they're gonna have to be in good standing.
I would assume, yeah, that's the way it happens.
And BOA money, that really is a different,
Bo is a
Okay.
whole area. There's no individual. We're not gonna go in and just
Okay.
individual it that way. We can go do site assessments and all of that, but it's that 32 acres. All we have to, whether he's in charge or not. The thing that I have question is, did Jay Rosen give the money to the foundation or to him? If he gave it to the foundation expecting a write-off, that ain't the case. The foundation never voted on that.
well, I guess that's something.
Well, I like bringing it up though. I pointed that out.
So from a BOA perspective, they're, you know, being passed on taxes is probably something that's common,
Oh,
the dynamic of it, but. as far as
most of
other-
Main Street is past due.
Right,
taxes,
right.
And they just won't take it, which I don't like.
Mhm.
So, but with this LDC LLC, we should be able to do Bill's School. I have people very interested in the Bill's School, and not for low income people. You know, we want to do the project at Masonic. Charlestown is gonna be a dynamic thing, chips, just getting everything moving.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn. Ian? Yeah. Discussion, on favor aye. Opposed, nay, carried. Thank you, have a good,
Yeah, let's just not forget July 31st is our LDC meeting here at 2. August 4th, we're at Mohawk Valley Community College, 8 AM. For site selectors, gonna be there, please let Aaron or Jen know, they'll sign you up. And then August 15th at 8 AM, we're having our budget workshop.
Can we come to get an agenda or any sort of something for the LVP meeting?
Well, I think, I mean, he could write up something, what he's gonna do is talk us through the plan of why we form it, what we can do with it. Why we do the individual LLC after the fact.
I think having something from.
Sure.
It's happening.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
correct?
Yeah, we can do that.
thank you, appreciate it. See
Okay.
you next time. Have a good day.
And then the budget